Hey guys, how's it going? Today we are going to be working up in a kind of front flower bed area around a giant tree that we have that goes between our house and our garage. You can see the raised bed garden behind me there, looking all pretty. Actually, I have to show you this container up close because these pansies are loving their life right now and they're so beautiful. I have to show them. Here they are. Just a super simple container of pansies, but they are blooming their heads off. Looking so pretty. It's such a happy little spot out here in the garden. But up there behind that, that's where our vegetable garden is. Our house is behind me here. Our garage is right in front of me. And then we have this giant tree, which I will show you in a minute. This is also where we planted the emerald green arbovitas. That was our first ever YouTube video. So let me show you how those are doing. If any of you are like OGs here from the original first emerald green arbovita video that we planted 3 years ago, let me know in the comment section below because I'd love to know if you're still with us. So here are the arbovita that we planted in that video. We have some heuchera down here below looking really pretty, starting to leaf out. But the emerald green arbovitas are still looking gorgeous, fluffy. I mean, you can't beat this. It's so pretty. But all three of them, these are still the original three that we planted. They're doing great. I'm super happy with them. It adds much needed structure and softness at the same time to our steps here. So they're doing great. Don't mind the hose. It's strung out everywhere right now. But this right here is the area we're going to be working on today. This giant tree here, which I won't even be able to get the whole thing probably in the shot. Well, maybe almost the whole thing. This is a giant maple tree, and I am so sad to see this tree grow. I really love this tree, but it has been dropping all kinds of branches and stuff on us lately, some larger ones, so it's time for it to go. So in this bed right now, there's not too much, but I want to get everything moved out of here before they come in and take the tree out because I don't want it to get trampled. Up here in the front, we have a trio of grasses, which we planted last fall as part of like our fall decor for this area. And they're all doing good. They're pretty much all coming back. This one looks like it's a little slower, but it still has some green in it. The other two look much nicer. And then we have 3 sedum. I believe these are autumn joy sedums. They get the most beautiful pink blooms on them in the fall. And then we have some different hostas just planted along the bottom of the tree here. There's my supplies, which we'll talk about in a minute. And this one up here, I'm going to go ahead and remove all of them. There's a few tucked in around the back here. So as far as supplies for this video, it's going to be really simple. All I'm going to use is my shovel, and then whenever we go and plant these plants in their new spot, we're going to use some biotone starter fertilizer to help these guys get a good foundation and start rooting in really quickly. Now, when we're talking about transplanting or moving plants, what you really want to think about is moving them in a time where the elements of the weather are not extreme. So it's not really hot outside, it's not really cold outside. Whenever the weather is just kind of nice and mild, it's kind of on the cooler side, maybe somewhere between the 50s to 70s. That's really the ideal time to be moving things. Right now it's starting to warm up a little bit more than I would normally like to move this many plants. But in the next 10 days or so, it's not supposed to get too hot, and we're supposed to get a lot of rain. So I think we'll still be okay. And that is really the big thing. No matter what time of year that you are moving things, making sure that your plants have plenty of water in that first little bit of time, maybe the first couple months or first year even, depending on how big the plant is. You really want to make sure that they have a lot of moisture until those roots really get settled into their new home. Now, as far as the hostas go, these are actually going to be getting a permanent home somewhere else. They are going to be going into the far corner up there of the raised bed garden. I'm also thinking about planting a few of them here in this little section, this little brown section by that tree. I have some hydrangeas planted in there, and some hostas would do really well right there. The other plants I kind of want to move back into this space once the tree is gone. So they're kind of going to be just put in a temporary home for right now, just to keep them happy until I can move them back. I might end up doing something totally different in this space. I'm not sure, because this space is going to be changing so much, and that's one reason why the hostas can't come back, because this space is going to be going from like part shade to pretty much full sun. So I think the hostas would not like it, and they'd probably die. So I don't think the hostas would like it once the tree is gone, so I'm going to find a permanent home for them. The other ones, though, we're just going to kind of temporarily hold them somewhere. Somewhere where I like them in case I need to leave them, but somewhere that I won't mind if I want to transfer them back. And that's just kind of the shuffle game sometimes in the garden that we play. But as long as we follow a few simple tips, the plants should be fine and just pick up and keep growing wherever we put them. Okay, so we're going to start by moving this hosta right here. And general rule of thumb that I like to do whenever I'm moving plants like this is I like to go just outside the leaf canopy, maybe an inch or so. And we'll just start making a circle around that plant. After we've made our circle the whole way around the plant, we can then begin to wiggle the plant right out. Now you want to take as much dirt and roots as you can with that plant. And once you have it loose, we can just lift this out just like this. Now you can take some of this soil off if you want, but most of it I just like to leave on there. That way the roots don't get disturbed too much. So here is our plant haul. They look awesome, nice big root balls. I was able to get on all of them, and lots of dirt as well. These grasses though, extremely root bound and really did not root into the soil very much at all. So when I replant these, I'm going to try to break apart that root ball a little bit to try to let them spread out and establish in the landscape a little more. I don't normally really tease root balls or anything like that, but whenever they're this root bound, they don't want to start growing into the native soil. They're just kind of like tangled up together, and that is really not good for them. So in this case, I will be taking a knife or something to those roots to try to get them broken apart. It is like a 2-inch mat of roots down there, so we're gonna have to do some surgery. But let's go ahead and get these hostas moved up to their new home. I think they're gonna be really happy up here because it is like a really nice, sort of bright, sort of, I don't know, like they never get direct sun, and they have nice shade from these huge maple trees up here. So I think they're going to be really happy up here. I'm excited to get them moved up here. I'll show you the area in which they're going here. This is the corner of the raised bed garden here. This is the shaded corner. And this side gets plagued with weeds and all kinds of stuff. It's really difficult to grow anything over here as well because most vegetables and flowers and things like that want full sun. So I think this is a perfect spot for these hostas to go. Now, one good thing that moving these hostas does is gives us an opportunity to divide them. Some of these hostas are getting pretty big, so I'm going to go ahead and divide probably 2 or 3 of them today. Probably all of them could be divided, but I want some bigger ones up here as well. So we're just going to divide the biggest ones today, and I'll show you how I do that. Okay, so here is our hosta plant, and if you look down inside your hosta plants, this one has a really clear kind of like separation. Not all of them have this. This one's just kind of a good example of that. If your hostas have a really nice clear separation, you can go ahead and divide them right along that space, which is what we're going to do today. I could actually divide this one multiple times. I might do that. I might divide 1 clump here, 1 clump here, and 1 clump here. Divide this into 3. And the way that we do that is just with a shovel. So I'm going to take my shovel, put it where I want to divide my hosta, and just push it through. And that just cuts it, and that will be perfectly fine. It still has lots of roots, and that piece is divided. Next, we're going to divide right here so that we get 3 clumps out of this one, and just shove our shovel down through there. And there we got 3 nice clumps of hosta. Now, when you're looking at some hostas, it may not be so easy to decide where to cut them. But I'm just going to cut this one right in the middle. So we're just going to go right in the middle of this plant and cut it. Now I'm only going to cut this one in half, but I find that hostas are really quite forgiving, so this is going to be just fine. Now, to plant something in the garden, what I like to do is just take my plants, lay them out where I like them, kind of get them arranged where I like them, and then go ahead and plant them. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so here they are, all planted up. It looks really nice. I love the hostas on this bed. They're going to fill up and make it look so pretty. I left some spaces like here, down here, here, around different areas so that we could put maybe like a blue hosta or maybe like a white, something like that, or even a different type of perennial that likes the shade, just so that we can add some interest and some depth of color up here. I have this little tiny cabbage plant. I actually had to move him. He was right there and I wanted a hosta there, so I moved the cabbage plant right here. He should be a really interesting and bold texture right there. I love cabbage plants. I think they're so pretty, so I like to tuck them in flower beds sometimes. I have another one right there, another one up there, and then a few on that side over there. But I'm super happy with the way it looks so far. We have a bunch of herbs starting to come in. We're going to fill this space with something beautiful. I don't know what it's going to be yet. I love it. Okay, so that was the bulk of the planting. Now we just have the 3 sedums and 3 grasses to plant. I'm not really sure where to plant them at the moment. We'll find a spot here. But the sedum and grasses both like full sun. So we need to find a spot that's going to be full sun where they're going to be happy. Also, when I plant the sedums, I am not going to be fertilizing them because they actually don't like fertilizer. Sedums like to be abused. They like to be left alone in crummy soil, hardly watered. I love them. They're so pretty and they're so easy to take care of. So whenever I plant the sedums, wherever that is, no fertilizer for them. Okay, so I decided to put the 3 sedums in this flower bed right here. There's one right there, one right there, and one right there. One thing to remember about this flower bed that I always forget, in the springtime it looks so full, but most of this stuff is daffodils and tulips, and they will be cut back here in the next couple months, and then this bed looks pretty empty. I've been working on filling it up over the last couple years, but some of this stuff might look a little cramped right now, but really this bed empties out pretty quickly once the spring stuff is done blooming. Now this one right here, I'm actually going to be planting another. This is a 9 bark right here. It's beautiful. It's got red foliage. So I want another one of those on this side. I want to bring the balance and symmetry and the beautiful color on both sides of this bed. But for now, because we're probably going to be moving these sedums again shortly anyway, we're just going to pop them right in here. They look really pretty though. I kind of like them. Okay, so here are the 3 sedums. I actually love that texture there. I mean, with the red behind it and the rock and the bright green and this like icy blue green, plus of course everything else going on in here right now, it looks so pretty. I love like the rose shape that sedums kind of have. We'll see. That one might end up staying there. I don't know. I really like him. Here is the other one. He's tucked in back here. He's a little too close to this tree to stay here forever, but we'll see. I might just scooch him over if I decide I really like him here. And here is the last one. Again, I just love sedums. They are one of my absolute favorites. The texture, the color, they're so pretty. Okay, so the last thing we need to plant are those grasses, and I think I found a spot for them kind of in the backyard. You guys don't see this area as much because this area has kind of been under some construction slash projects that I started and haven't really finished slash not really sure what to do with it. But let me show you what we're working with because I'm hoping to get this area finished up this year. Kind of make it all look nice and get it buttoned up. So this will show you at least a before and then you get to see the after hopefully. So this is the back of our house here. Up there is where the garden is. Right here is where we started to build a fire pit area last year. There's some more work that needs to be done on it yet, some more rock that needs to be brought in. I've been working on building this stacked stone wall. There will be a flower bed that goes out around this, and I'm building a big pergola that's going to go over this area that I'm going to grow grapes over. So from there, right off of our porch here, I started to cut a flower bed last year, and I'm not super happy with the lines of it. I knew I wanted it to be a super deep bed, but I don't know. I kind of wanted it to have some curves. It ended up just being really straight. I don't know. It's just not working out. But I'll show you what we have in here so far. We have, I believe they're called pink lemonade blueberries. Something like that. Something pink, lemonade, blueberry, something, some form of those words. We have one here and we have one here. This one is clearly not doing well. I'm not sure that it's even alive, but I'm going to give it a little bit of time here and see. It looks like there's some leaves there, so hopefully it's okay. I was thinking about trying to trim some of the stuff that clearly looks dead off of it. Anyway, it's there trying to survive. Here we have a really pretty purple bush. If I can remember the name of it, I'll put it up on the screen, but I can't remember for the life of me what this is called right now. I have two of those. One's not looking so hot. The other one is. That's kind of the name of the game back here. One dies, one lives. I'm not sure. Then we have a hydrangea right here. This is a limelight hydrangea. And then I am just going to put the grasses in right here, kind of as a block to all of this mess that's happening here. Now, this may seem a little harsh, but for these grasses, because their roots are so thick on the bottom, it has like a 2-3 inch layer of just matted roots on the bottom. I'm just going to cut them off. That might seem extreme. They may die, but I'm just going to cut them off. I'll let you guys know how they do. So just like dividing our hostas, there we go. Do you see that? That is just one giant mat. And no matter how much I pulled on it, I could not get them apart. So we just cut it off. We'll see how they do. Okay, so here are the 3 grasses. This third one here I originally had back there, but there was a huge rock under the mulch back there, so I bumped him out here. So I'm hoping they're gonna like their spot here at least well enough. You guys know how gardening goes. At least the plan changes constantly, at least for me, because I decide I like something somewhere and then I have to figure out what to do in the other space. So we'll see how it goes. That might be kind of what happens here. I did want to show you something really quick before we sign off here because I'm really excited about it. I didn't show planting it in a video because there's not really much to show, but I want to show it to you at the end of this video. So here where we just planted the grasses up there, this whole area here is going to become some sort of flower bed. We have some rock steps here that the flower bed's going to come down, probably somehow wrap around these. I'd like to bring some really interesting and beautiful things to this space to make it a really comfortable and beautiful space to be, because that is our back deck where we like to do a lot of grilling and things. But right here is what I wanted to show you. Like I said, it's not much to see right now, but this little thing right here is a fig tree. So This thing gets between 6 to 8 feet tall and wide, so it's probably going to come out to about here in the flower bed. It's going to be a nice structure. It's going to have lots of branches and trunks, which I'm super excited about. I think it's going to look really interesting. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm excited about. Not much to see, but the potential is so exciting. Anyway, most people don't get my excitement about this kind of stuff, but my fellow gardeners, I'm sure you share my excitement with these little things that you plant and it looks like really nothing but a couple of brown twigs, and then, you know, it just becomes like a food forest someday. So anyway, that's going to be it for this video. I hoped it was helpful seeing how to transplant some plants, getting to see some of the places where I'm putting things. I'd like to be able to record the tree coming down whenever they come to cut that down. I don't know if I'm going to be able to or not, but if I can, I would definitely share that with you guys, and just the whole process of what we're going to do with that space once that tree is gone, because it's going to be so different. I'm going to have to figure out some sort of winter interest in that space because it's just going to feel so empty. If you guys have any good suggestions, let me know. We're going to obviously have like a giant stump in the middle. Even if they grind the stump down, you still aren't really able to plant in that spot because of all the roots and stuff right where the tree was. So we'll have to see. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see you in the next one.